Okay, we've learned the white notes, so now let's learn the black notes. In this section, we're going to go over a couple of concepts. One is a concept called half step, and then we're going to go over another concept called the whole step, and then we're going to go over another concept called sharps and another concept called flats. So half step, whole steps, sharps, and flats are what we're going to deal with in this section. And it's all going to be relative to learning these black keys. And it's also going to set you up to be able to get some things that's going to help you out in the next lessons. So let's start with half step. A half step is when you move any note on the piano, one note from any note on the piano. So if I'm on C and I go up one note to this first black note in this set of two, then I've moved a half step. Okay, if I'm on this first black note and I move to this very next note right here, which is D, then I have moved a half step. Half step, half step, half step, half step, half step, half step, so on and so forth. Those are, I just moved all the way up in half steps. Back down in half steps. Just moving down one note, up one note. Anytime you go up or down one note, you have moved a half step on the piano. Okay, the next concept is called the whole step. The whole step is when you move two notes. So instead of going from C to this note, I would go from C to D. Okay, now I've just moved a whole step, two notes. 1, 2. This was the note I started on, I originated on, and this is the note that I end on, D. Now you don't have to hit the note in the middle when you're moving a whole step. You just move from C to D and you have moved a whole step, which means you skip the note in between. Okay? Then you're gonna go we're gonna go another whole step from D. And that's gonna put us, we're gonna skip a note and it's gonna put us right here on E. Okay? Then we'll go a whole step from here and that'll put us on this first black note in the section of 3. Okay? That is how you do whole steps. Half step is when you move one note from C to here. And a whole step is when you move two notes from C to D. Okay? Awesome. Okay, now that we've learned what half steps and whole steps are, we're going to learn what sharps and flats are. Okay, sharps and flats primarily deal with half steps. So we're not going to deal with whole steps in this section. They'll come back in another section. But it's important. It's also a very important concept to learn. Okay. So now a sharp is when you go one half step up from a note. So if I go from C and I go up one half step to this black note, then this first black note in a set of 2 is C sharp because I went one half step up from C. This is C. I go up one half step and I'm on C sharp. Okay? This first black note is C sharp. Okay? So if I'm on D and I go up a half step to this second black note, then it will make this second black note D sharp. So this is C sharp because it's one half step up from C, and this is D sharp because it's one half step up from D. Okay? D, D sharp, C, C sharp. Okay? Now, we'll move to the section of 3 black notes. Now, you have this first one is F sharp because it's one half step up from F. F, F sharp, F, F sharp. Okay? This second black note in the set of 3 is G sharp because it's one half step up from G. G, G sharp, G, G sharp. And this last black note is A sharp because it's one half step up from A. A sharp, A A sharp. So here you have it. C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp. And it's also going in alphabetical order, except you just don't have the E sharp in there. But it's C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, and A sharp lastly. Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. Now we're going to learn the flats. Flats is different. A sharp is 1/2 step up. A flat is 1/2 step down. Okay, so that will make, if this is D and I go back 1/2 step, this first black note is also D flat, but it's also C sharp. Here's C, C sharp, but it's also D flat. So C sharp and D flat. Now, one thing about these black notes is this: they're called enharmonics. All of the black notes, they're called enharmonics. And an enharmonic is one note with two names. Okay, one note with two names. That's what an enharmonic is. So, like I said, this note, this first black note is C sharp, but if I go 1/2 step back from D, then it also becomes D flat. C sharp, D flat. Okay? The second black note is E flat. It's also D sharp, but it's E flat because it's 1/2 step down from D, from E, 1/2 step down from E. This third black note is, or the first note in the set of three, is G flat. It's also F sharp, but it's G flat because it's 1/2 step down from G. G, G flat. Okay? Then you have A flat because it's 1/2 step down from A. A flat. It's also G sharp. Then you have B flat because it's 1/2 step down from B. B flat. It's also A sharp. A sharp. So, like I said, these are black notes are called enharmonics. You have C sharp and D flat, D flat, and E flat, and also D sharp, G flat, and also F sharp, A flat, and also G sharp, B flat, and also A sharp. So those are the black notes. Now, if you need to go back through this section, feel free to get familiarized with the concept of sharps and flats.